guys, welcome to today's IG Live. So this weekend I finally released the Maris, something that I have been working on for months and keeping from you and doing test after test after test and working on the fit, the front closure, what fabrics to use, and I was so excited to release it this past week. And I actually was going to release it on Friday, but I took Saturday off. Ryan and I went to Maryland to celebrate our 1-year anniversary of getting engaged. So when I got back on Sunday, I released it. And today I'm going to be going over the inspiration, how and why I developed it, and kind of like my design process and fabric choices. I did post to Instagram before I did this live asking, people if they had questions to put them in the comments. So I have a couple of questions that I want to answer as well. So let's get started. Let's get started. So this, I'll have my lovely model here, is the Maris. So it is a 3-part cup bralette that features a front closure. So first thing is let's just go over inspiration. Why did I do a front closure bra? So I feel like I might not know of a front closure bra lingerie pattern, but I feel like there are no front closure bralette patterns. So that was one of the reasons why I came up with this. Also, the deep V is so flattering. One of my patterns from Simplicity is the 8436, and it also is a plunge neckline. And I don't care if you're an A cup, a B cup, a C cup, a D cup, an E cup, an F cup, all those cups. It gives you great cleavage, but not too much where you're spilling out, but just the right amount. So that was another reason or inspiration behind the Maris. The other reason is that I have so many women who reach out to me and have, trouble hooking a bralette or a bra or bralette in the back, or pulling on a bralette over their head. Whether it's limited mobility, it's a disability, it's a disease like fibromyalgia. And also, I have the bare bralette that you can get nursing clips with it, but this you can unclasp it and it can be a nursing bra as well without doing the clips and then having to re-clip it. So the front closure had it could do many things. And plus the design with the plunge neckline I just thought was really flattering. Another inspiration behind the Maris is the 3-part cup. So the bare bralette is fantastic. It's a tried and true bralette. But there is a drawback to that, is that bralettes are designed, or when you pattern make a bralette, on a B cup. So if you are a D, E, F, G cup, you really struggle to find bralettes because you have to size up in order to provide you coverage, but then it's too big all the way around. So the more seams that you have in a bra, the more volume that you can accommodate. So I wanted a bralette that had a cross cup seam as well as a vertical seam, so that if you needed to increase the length to provide more volume, or width to again provide more volume, you could, without completely pattern hacking the pattern. And I think that I really strived to offer more sizes with the Maris. So the Maris is available not only in an alpha size, but also cup sizes. So A, B, C, D, E, F cup. Now I'm going to go over this in another Instagram live about this sizing, but I've gotten a few questions and I'll just touch on it right here and now. Is that A, B, C, D, E, F cups. The Maris accommodates a 1-inch difference between the full bust and the underbust, up to a 9-inch difference. Now, usually a 9-inch difference is a cup, if you're thinking ready-to-wear bras. A 9-inch difference is a different cup size. So it's usually a G cup. So why did I label it an EF cup? So when I was going through the grading of the Maris, I originally made I make the sample size, and then it's graded up and then graded down. And then I'll sew the largest size and then the smallest size. So with the largest size, I made the largest size EF cup, and when I tried it on a fit model, as well as the mannequin, I found out that, or I realized that like, hey, it's actually accommodating more volume than we originally planned, which was like 6 inches. I think it was like 6-7 inches. So everybody, all the pattern testers or some of the pattern testers and some of the fit models kept having to size down. And the reason being is that bralettes, when you're dealing with alpha sizes, usually accounts for 2 sizes. So they're kind of like group size. So the Maris the sizing almost doubled, which is great because now it can I originally planned for it to accommodate like 7 inches difference, but now it's up to like 9. Maybe you can squeeze in a 10-inch there. So I think that's even better. So that's another inspiration for the Maris, is one, to provide a 3-cup seam that would allow even more volume if you wanted to, alter it. And the front closure, for not only is it flattering, would make for a great bathing suit, might be coming, as well as for people with limited mobility. And then as far as people, I get this question a lot, is that people ask me, because I teach pattern making classes, do I pattern draft from scratch for like new samples? And I don't. So I have the mood board down here, which I'm going to bring up. So my design development is that I actually buy something ready-made. And the reason being is that a drawing is 2D. And when I was a technical designer, the biggest struggle that I had with designers was that they would draw things out. And I just was like, but it's a drawing. Like, is it going to translate into real life? So when I have an actual garment in front of me, my thinking is that I know this can work out because here it is. It's an actual tangible 3D garment. If we just do this, this, and this, it makes it Madalynne. And a lot of people, some people ask, I actually had a virtual 101 and someone was developing a bra pattern and they wanted to start with an already made bra pattern, and they were a little hesitant because they're like, what is that copying? Okay, do you know how many designs are like this? There are a lot. Like, I'm not inventing the wheel here, the bra wheel, or this isn't the first time this has happened ever. I think that if you, put it this way, if you run a business, if you're doing anything, it's all about efficiency. Why start at ground zero when you can start at like step 3? Or why start at step 0 if you can start at step 3? If you can start building off of something, you've already done a lot of the work, or the work's already been done. So that's my thing. And it just like as a technical designer that's in me, I buy one sample from the market or at a store, and then I buy another sample and I take the other one apart. And I kind of, okay, I like this, I don't like that, I want to change this, I want to change that. Kind of like reverse engineer. And that's the way that I work. And that's the way that I work best. And I also, going back to starting from step 0 versus like step 3 is, I work best, I know my limitations, I know what I'm good at, I know what I'm not so good at, I need help with. I actually don't work very well if I start from 0. It kind of goes back to the tailor in me. I do very well if I can go in and fix things. So I actually work with a pattern maker in New York. Let me bring up my mood board right here. So here's my I'm going to get more into this a little bit later. But here's my mood board, and it sits in a chest at the studio, and literally I will keep the doors open and I'll just like let this develop for months. But this is the bra that I bought. What served as like the original inspiration. I brought it to the pattern maker in New York, and also the underwear as well. I brought it to the pattern maker in New York and I said, hey, I actually gave her this and the Bralette as well. It's like, I want, a combination of this, but I want to make these changes, but I still want to have relatively the same fit as Barrett. And then she'll draft a pattern, she will send me the sample, the sewn sample, and then I'll look at it and be like, all right, now the pattern maker in me is like, all right, I need to make this change, this change, this change, this change in order to get it to what I envision in my head. So I think that was in early January that I I kind of developed the idea over November, December. I went to the pattern maker in January. I had her sew or pattern make the first sample, send me the sewn sample early February, I think. And then once I get that pattern and sample and I fit it, I do the rest. So she sends me the first sample and then I'll make the pattern changes. And I think there were like 4 or 5 iterations before I sent it off to be graded. And with each iteration, with each sample, or I would always try it on a mannequin and then I would try it on an actual human being. Because like I say in my bra fitting 101 class, mannequins are a great tool, but they do not represent the human body. So you have to see it on body. So that's the inspiration. That's how I developed it. And the front closure, I definitely want to get into front closure because that, I'm going to get into I'm going to have more IG lives, especially about the front closure. But the front closure for the Maris, one of the hardest things for the Maris, one of them was grading it to all sizes. It was so hard to get, it's really a challenge to get a design to translate from extra small AB cup to 4XL EF cup. And the reason being is that a lot of times when you grade up, everything is graded. So the biggest struggle that I have with graders, which I actually use, I outsource grading. Again, I'm much better if I oversee it, and grading is a separate job in itself. But a lot of the graders that I've worked with will grade everything. So by the time you get to 4XL, like this, the back band is like this big and the side seam is like that big. No matter if you're an extra small or a 4XL, you want to look cute. You know, you want it to be still sexy. And I feel like when you just grade everything up based on grade rules, sometimes you have to use common sense and be like, no, the back band shouldn't be graded because it's gonna everything's gonna look way too big. So it was really hard to grade it. That was probably the most challenging thing, and then to fit it, and then to be like, no, on this size we need to do this, on this size we need to do that. The other one was front closure. So front closures are relatively straight out of the box. Front closures you can find it. Pacific Trimming has it, AliExpress has it. The problem is a lot of it are used for swimwear. And especially when you get to larger sizes. So this is stretch fabric. So naturally, it's going to spread open, especially in larger sizes or in full-busted gals. So the hardest part that I have a couple of samples that I had that just vendors sent to me and stuff like that, was that, dropped one, they were too wide. They were too wide. So when you got to the larger sizes, it split open. And it split open to a point where it was like 1.5 inches. And then if you're 1.5 inches wide, there's gonna be some spillage. So the hardest part was coming up with a narrow front closure that wouldn't spread open. And this is plastic. And at first, I was sent the metal ones. I was like, no, definitely want metal. It makes it feel special. You know, everybody just likes metal hardware. And I was resistant to get this, but this is super narrow. And whenever I put this on, I'll follow up with some stories with some of the original samples that actually had a metal front closure. It was really heavy. And personally, I don't want to feel weighed down by my lingerie. So it was heavy, it was clunky. And also from some of the samples that I made in my size and then wear tested, it was uncomfortable. It actually was winter during the time, so it got cold. So I actually went against it. I was like, hey, this black plastic actually looks a lot sleeker on this design. It's not, doesn't make it feel, it doesn't weigh it down. It doesn't make it feel really heavy. It makes it feel light, sleek, modern. So I actually went with this. And these actually were custom made from a vendor in Austria. And I think they turned out great. And the awesome thing about this is I have some swimsuit kits coming out in a couple weeks. You can use these for swimsuits. So, I mean, you can use these as well, but you can use these for swimsuits as well. So the front closure was the hardest thing to find. And I'm really happy with the way that it turned out and how sleek and modern the Maris looks. The last thing that I want to cover with the inspiration and design and stuff like that is a couple questions that came up today in the comments of my Instagram post. Was one, can you make the mirrors out of a partial lace? And I am interpreting that as if you can use lace down here in this portion. So you definitely can. I mean, that's the beauty of me made. If you want to make it out of stretched leather, you can. But the thing that you have to keep in mind is that, so this fabric, again, there can be another Instagram live about the fabrication and why I chose these fabrics. But this black lycra has a special blend of spandex so that for plus size and full bust gals, it still provides a lot of support without feeling heavy. So that's why I chose that. So if you use a partial lace or a cotton lycra, somebody asked me that as well, it's not going to be as supportive. So if you are a G cup, an F cup, an E cup, yes, you can make it, but it's just not going to be as supportive as if you use the lycra backed with power knit. But again, you might just be using it or wearing it as a lounge bra, so you don't need that support. So then that's totally fine. Again, the beauty of Me Made is that you get to make the decisions. You get to make it however you want. So that's, let me show you my mood board too. So I keep this mood board. I started this mood board back in December, and this is a mood board that I keep in a chest. I close it, and when I close it when I leave, and when I come in the studio, I open the doors, and it's just something that develops over time. Based on, so I will put, and this, usually will work in colors, but I knew that I wanted this to be black. So sometimes I'll put like all my fabrics here in white, all my fabrics on here in red, all my fabrics over there in white. And I'll kind of just play around with things. Like I'll take this guy off, I'll put another fabric, and I'll say like, oh, if, if I use this strap with that, will it go? Or could I make a kit using this fabric with this fabric? And I'll just play around with it. And sometimes I'll pin things up here and then take it down a couple days later. I'm like, nah, that was a good idea, but I'm over it now. And I just kind of see what develops and what sticks. And what sticks is what I end up proceeding with. So I feel like if I put it up there and it's like a good idea, but like I'm not really into it a couple days later, I'm like, no, it doesn't have staying power. So in order for me to design something, come out with a kit, I need to like it over and over. So this kind of just sits in my cabinet, and then as I'm developing a style, I'll just keep playing around with it, keep my original inspiration up as well, the pictures, so that, as I'm making the changes throughout the design, that I'm still, in line with my original inspiration. So, yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys are enjoying the mirror. So be sure to join the Facebook group. Put this down. I have a lot coming up about the mirrors. And again, I have the rest of the month I have IG lives around the mirrors. And my reason being is that, coming out with a pattern is one step. But I need to give you all the tools to set you up for success. I say this over and over, but the last thing I want is for you to get a Madalynne kit, to open it, and to be like, to start sewing it, and to be like so frustrated and don't know what to do with it, or don't know how to sew it, or don't know what elastic to go where. So I'm hoping that all these IG lives about sizing, about sewing, about fabric choices, kind of set you up for success, so that when you go to sew the mirrors, you're like, I totally understand this. I know why she chose a 3-part cup. I know why I'm using this fabric. I know what, how the elastic is sewn here. Because I want you to make the mirrors once, and then over and over and over again, and then for it to be the first of many Madalynne Me Mades. So today was about the inspiration. Tomorrow is about sizing as well. So stay tuned. And I'm going to end on this. Be sure to join the Facebook group. So I created a Facebook group just for the mirrors because a lot of people don't feel comfortable posting their Me Made lingerie on Instagram. So this is a private Facebook group where you can ask questions too. So if you want to make a bathing suit out of it, or if you're short on photorealistic, what pattern hack can you, or what changes could you make to kind of use what you have on hand. So it's kind of like a safe place to post your in progress and finished photos, to ask questions, get my feedback as well. Right now there are about 77 members, almost 80, which I think is awesome. And I'm hoping that as those people get their kits and start sewing, it can be a great resource and forum for the mares. So I hope you guys enjoyed